Oh, right on time. 6 o'clock, right there. I was down to the second. Right on time, live here. What's going on, everybody? I got to alert the cavalry, bring in the reinforcements, have people join up. Excited to do this with you guys tonight. We got a good show for you. We are going to have a lot of fun tonight. Got some great bikes, some great questions. Letting the Discord boys know that I'm live now. And we also got to hit them on Instagram. We'll get this link out of here. Y'all got to see me on my phone, unfortunately. Very interesting live stream for you guys here. Let's get this link. Let's go to the gram. Let's alert everybody. Come on through. Come on through. Sly Time just rode home in this heat. You are crazy. You are crazy. I was walking around earlier today, running some errands. I think it was like 105 degrees out here in Texas. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to flip them here. Get the link going. Live on YouTube now. Why did my link not pop up? Love Instagram. Greatest platform. Live on YouTube now. There we go. Boom. Freaking hate the damn cell phone. What's up, everybody? All right. Chilling out here, pre-stream, hanging out. As a reminder, if you want to join up on a deeper level, go over to the Discord. Come on, what are you doing? If you like hanging out on the live stream, you're gonna like the Discord server. I was just talking to this dude about how he's taking an R1M to our local roads around here, and I was like, that is taking a bazooka to kill a fly. What are they talking about Maine over here? Talking about some guy, how heavy are the bikes that Harley uses in their courses, have some NSF questions. Boys, look, this is a great server. I know I hype it up, but I genuinely am so proud of all the boys in here. People asking me some questions. This dude asked a crazy question earlier. He was like, is my 91 Kawasaki ZX-11 a good starter bike? And I just hit him with this reaction. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? I was like, what on God's green earth does that even mean? I'm talking about ZX-11 as a starter bike. That's absolutely crazy. What are you guys saying here on chat? JT says 105. We had a cold front at OKC. It's only 93. That's way north of where I am here in Austin. So I do hope that up there in Oklahoma it is not nearly as hot. That would be really, really good. Marcus says stay out of Maine. I love jumping into Maine on Discord and just doing drive-bys on people, like just giving people random opinions and just randomly reacting to people. It's pretty funny. Arthur says, can you do a new video on dual sports? Well, Arthur, I think what would I talk about with dual sports? I'm curious. What would you like me to say specifically? Like covering history, which one's best, which one to get? There's like lots of angles to take with dual sports. And honestly, dual sports, some of my favorite motorcycles out there, honestly. Bruce, what up, brother Yam? I like that title. Cree, can you do a 2024 Street Triple RS in yellow as a giveaway or a new updated comparison? Cree, I'm glad you brought that up because there's some things in the works for later this year, specifically with that motorcycle. Hint, hint, I definitely will be doing one as a giveaway, I think in December. We got a really cool one coming up in September after the MT-09. Then we have absolute bread and butter giveaway that we're doing for October, November that I think will appease many of the beginner bike contingent among you. And then we're doing that Street Triple, so it's going to be a good time. Dave says the DCT auto emoji cracks me up. Yeah, I think on our Discord server, anytime someone mentions DCT, it just like hits them with a little react, which is really funny. Jordan says, Papa Yams. Danny says, how do I sign up for the Discord? Well, let me give you the little pitch while I got you here on the pre-stream before we start the show. You become a member on YammieNoob.co. We got tons of different packages and memberships and all that good stuff, and that gets you entered to the giveaway bikes, right? But I really think the coolest part about it is you get access to the Discord server. It's a ton of fun. It's really cool. You get access to all these channels, all the behind the scenes, talking to people, and that's how you get entered to the Discord server. I think we have, how many people are on here? Like 5,000 something, and there's a lot of folks on the Discord server, so it's pretty fun. So, yeah. Charles says, Yammie Noob, what's up? How you doing? Yammie Squid says, I'd like to see you do a 2009 Honda CBR 1000R giveaway. That is so weirdly specific. I don't know if that would do that well. That's a bike that's quite long in the tooth. People like the new stuff. And how do I know that? Because I bought a 2023 Yamaha MT-09 SP, and people are like, no, it's not new enough. Where's the 24? And I'm like, it's basically the same bike. Cut me some slack. I couldn't get the 24. I'm a normal guy. Calm down. Slytime says, I've done several group rides via the Discord. That's also a big selling point, too. If you want some people to ride with, we have riders all over the country, all over the world. I can't promise you're going to find someone in your area because, 5,000 random squids across the world. But weirdly enough, if you are in the southern United States, we have like a very strong contingent of people in Texas, California, Florida. I mean, those are population centers, so kind of makes sense. But if you do live in one of those states, highly recommend. It's a ton of fun. Isaac says, the new facelift MT-09 was needed. I really don't agree. Honestly, the new MT-09, I think, doesn't look as... It's so weird. I remember when this version came out, the one that I have, the 23. It came out, it was a 21 to 23 with the Cyclops head. Like, I hated it. I thought it was so weird, disgusting. I didn't want anything to do with it. In person, now that I've had the bike for a little bit, I think it looks really good. It's a good-looking motorcycle. It's pretty sweet. Oh, boy, 6:07 p.m. We're hanging out here a little bit. Let's enter the official pre-stream hang. So we're just letting the boys trickle in before we start answering some questions. If you have questions for me before we start or as we start, feel free to drop them in the chat. I always try to address the chat as we go here. Sometimes there's, I can't really see them, or like it's hard to see. So I think super chat's the best way because then it gets stuck to the top. Stick to the top. You like that English there? And that's probably going to be the best way to do it. So I see some questions here. Nicholas says, Yammie, I bought an Aprilia RS660 back in February because of your high praise, and oh my god, I love it. What other bike would you recommend? Because I'm ready for number 2. RS660 is a fantastic bike. Really, really loved it. That's such a good all-around package. Not too compromised in ergonomics, great power delivery, nice and zesty, cool looks. I really like the acid yellow one we did as a giveaway in 21. That was a cool bike. Second bike after an RS660. It depends. If you want to stick with the fully fared stuff, I mean, if you want to, here's the thing. I think if you want to stick in the Aprilia or maybe Ducati realm, if you're an Italian bike kind of guy, Panigale V2 would be a great kind of next level. It's a lot more motorcycle, makes 55 more horsepower, way zestier, but, it's kind of that next step up to like that kind of really solid, cool Italian sort of mid-flagship type of thing. I say that because, the big twins used to be Ducati's big flagship, and now they got the V4s and all that. You don't need the V4. The V4 is insane. If you want to stick in the Aprilia world, I mean, RSV4 is really nuts to go from an RS660. Maybe look at the middleweight nakeds, like... Maybe try out a Street Triple. That could be a really cool upgrade. Extra cylinder, a little bit more power, a little bit more sporty. I know that sounds interesting, but I do think the Street Triple is a little bit more sporty than the RS660. So that's what I would recommend. Slide time. It's silly time. That's true. I guess I can't read because because the L's were so big, I guess I just saw like Sly time. But yeah, it's silly time. There is a Y in there, and I'm illiterate, so that's pretty rough for me. Good thing. Well, I was gonna say I don't need to read for my job, but I literally read scripts every single week for my job, so I guess I have to read. Oh, Brotisserie Chicken here. First of all, excellent username. That's really good. Asks, are you ever gonna review the Aprilia 457? I do you one even better. In mid-September, we're doing one as a giveaway bike. I got one in my garage right now. Got it in the prismatic dark. Looks freaking sweet. We're going to have so much content with that bike. I think I have like 10 videos already planned for it. Reviews, comparisons, deep dives, opinion pieces, all kinds of stuff. So you've got all the ins and outs on the RS457. I'm your guy. I'm going to give it to you. It's going to be good. James says, would you recommend the RS457 for a beginner? We were just talking about it. I think if you have the budget, it's perfectly adequate. Like in terms of the bones of the motorcycle, it's like totally good. It will really, really work for a beginner. The power is not scary. The ergonomics are not scary. The weight is not scary. Everything about it is pitch perfect for like that kind of more sporty beginner. I still kind of like cringe a little bit at like a $8,600 beginner bike. I'm kind of like, let's see if you really like motorcycling before you jump into something like that. That's why I still think like a $4,000 Ninja 400 or even a $2,800 CB300R is going to be better, just because it's like, see if you want to get into it. Like a lot of people get into motorcycling and decide that it's not for them. So that's the only reason I'm kind of like, I don't know. But if you know you want to do it and you got budget, dude, go for it. It's a great bike. Really, really great bike. All right, boys, 611. Let's get started with the stream, shall we? Let's do it. So first up for today, we're doing rider questions answered. As a reminder, if you got questions for me, you can always drop them on yammynoob.co. Join the Discord server. We have a specific Ask Yam channel and then a live stream submissions channel. So any questions, you got a cool bike you want to show me, that's going to be the place to do it. I occasionally drop on Instagram too if I want to spur up some more interesting or oddball questions as well. And also if you got some questions on here, I would join up as well. Brandon Chasehorn, my good buddy in real life, says, why is the Honda Helix the best two-wheeled vehicle ever made? Honda, they just make the best stuff. And now someone's going to clip me saying that, and I'm never going to live it down. Let's get started, shall we? Goldfish on YouTube has asked me, how do I know when the transmission is going bad or the clutch? I'm kind of confused about it. So this is something I see come up with newer riders where, something might be going wrong on your motorcycle and you may not know exactly what's going bad or wrong, right? A clutch diagnosis for a clutch being bad is almost always the following symptoms. Let's say you're rolling on the gas in 4th, 5th, or 6th gear, and all of a sudden you feel the RPMs increase, but you don't feel like the bike is really moving much. It feels like it's slipping, right? It's like revving, but it's like not really moving forward. That's usually what happens when a clutch is smoked. And that happens because the clutch is a basket, has a series of plates that kind of moves in and out like this, right? To get the drive shaft and everything all connected, right? I'm kind of butchering the explanation here. But anyways, as time goes on and you ride the motorcycle and use the clutch, those plates get worn out. We call them friction plates, right? And over time, that can cause that issue where it feels like it's slipping, right? Also, like if you just feel kind of like, the clutch isn't grabbing correctly when you're leaving a stop, like those are all classic signs of clutch issues, not transmission issues. Transmission issues, on the other hand, are like super obvious because you get grinding sounds, you get like really bad feelings from the actual like shift lever and those kinds of things. It's pretty distinct. So that's kind of one way to think about clutches versus transmissions. Clutches are very easy to fix. If you have a smoked clutch, you get a new clutch pack, load up all the plates, relatively easy procedure on a vast majority of motorcycles. Transmissions are you're usually better off getting a whole new engine instead of a new transmission because the whole thing is one piece, basically. So that's kind of a very quick and dirty rundown on transmissions versus clutches. Hope that helped. Probins Racing 18 asked, I just want to know straight up whether the MT-07, Trident, or GSX 8S is the best. Chat, let me know which one of these three is the best. Just tell me what is best? Because this is a question we try to answer all the time on Yammie Noob. We've done so many comparison videos, so many ins and outs. But the issue is, it depends on what kind of rider you are and what you're looking for and what attracts you to these motorcycles. let's talk about the Trident because it's the different one. It has 3 cylinders, and if that's important to you, that's the only one that's going to do it for you, right? The GSX-8S, it makes a little bit more low-down grunt and power, but the MT-07 is the tried and true and the classic one. And ultimately, you got to get the bike you think looks cool, right? I know that sounds silly, but if you get in any one of these 3 bikes, they're all going to be good, like one's makes, a nice amount of torque. MT-07's fun and playful. The Trident is just like really overall like a well-executed package. But you're going to be fine on either one of those bikes, either 3 of them rather, and just get the one you think is coolest. People on chat saying MT-07, buy all 3. I mean, MT-07 is the one to get, I think, because it's just like, it's cheap, it's plentiful, it's been made for forever, and it's really fun to ride. It's just got this like stumpy wheelbase, it wheelies in 3rd gear. It's a lot of fun. All right. Andrew on YouTube says, any tips on calming the nerves? It's my 2nd day riding, and I was pretty nervous around traffic. I mean, that's just something that's going to come with time, If you're nervous riding a motorcycle, over time, you will find that you will just kind of be a little bit more zen, be a little bit more chilled out. It's not going to happen in the 2nd day of you riding that you're not going to be nervous at all. In fact, you should be nervous because that's your body keeping you safe from things. So give it time, take it easy. I would say, just ride slower than you anticipate you want to ride. That's a nice way to keep your nerves nice and calm. Quick on here, Devinder K asked a question. Says, yo, Papa Yam, what comes to your mind when you think about user experience when it comes to motorcycle? Doing some research, the DSK on Discord. Well, thank you for the question, my friend. What do I think of when I think of the user experience when it comes to motorcycling? I mean, for me, it's the whole thing about motorcycles is like you're literally just like straddling an engine and going down in time and space. To me, it's like crazy that they're even legal to operate still. It feels like the nanny state would have at this point made them illegal. So I think the visceral quality of motorcycling is the #1 user experience. And then, of course, the yeet energy, the raw feeling of just like making the engine go, and there's nothing between you and the engine. That's the reason it's called the motorcycle, right? The motor, the engine is very, very important. Okay. Joe D on YouTube has asked, my opinion on slip-on before the break-in period is over. Just got my Ninja 500 3 days ago and already have a Leo Vinci exhaust ready to install. It doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't matter at all. The only thing that matters is if your slip-on system or your exhaust system needs an ECU flash or some sort of fuel management solution to adjust the air-to-fuel ratios. I believe the Ninja 500, I don't know if they changed it from the 400, but the 400s, you'd pop off the slip-on and put on a slip-on, and all of the muffling was basically done at the end. I don't remember if it has a catalytic converter from the header to that final pipe. So all you got to really make sure is that the air-to-fuel ratios are correct and you have a flash or some sort of fuel management system. It really doesn't matter if you do it at mile 1 or mile 1,000. The break-in on the vast majority of motorcycling is just to like kind of get the parts all moving and good and, make sure you change the oil. Like the break-in period is really not as big of a deal, especially on small bore Japanese motorcycles as people think it is. On much higher end motorcycles like Super Dukes, well, KTM's reliability is a whole bag of worms, but Ducatis, the higher end stuff, the break-in is a little bit more important, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just make sure that if you're doing an exhaust, check to see if you have removed the catalytic converter, removed any of the like really intense muffling that happens, so that if you need fuel management, you need to get it. Okay, Julius Caesar. Wow, that's quite the question asker, isn't it? What has been your most memorable memory on a motorcycle? The one I say pretty often was my trip in 2019 to Jerez that I did the Bridgestone tire launch. I'm a huge MotoGP fan. To ride in Jerez was like, oh my God, it was like such a treat. And to have all those different bikes to ride was such a big treat. That definitely was one of my favorite memories. Another favorite memory of mine was when I was riding in Israel in 2019. 2019 was a good year for travel, apparently. I got the chance to ride with the Cardo guys from Tel Aviv all the way to the Dead Sea, and then from the Dead Sea through Jerusalem back to Tel Aviv. We did this huge, like, day-long loop, and I just remember riding through Jerusalem. There were these, like, hills, and I was on a Tenere 660. It's like the old single-cylinder Tenere before they did the Tenere 700. So it was not even, like, my preferred motorcycle, but, like, everything was kind of pink because it was, like, golden hour, and I was wearing, I don't know, like, it was such a perfect ride. So varied, so interesting. So that was definitely one of my favorite memories on a motorcycle, for sure, no doubt. All right, Hugh on YouTube has asked, if you could have either a track bike, either or is a track bike, excuse me, see, I can't read, what would you do? You can only use this bike forever. ZX6 or ZX10? Chat, I think the answer here is very clear. And you guys let me know if you have a difference of opinion on this, but I truly think the ZX6 is the one to get. 600s are just, for my skill set, which is like novice club racer, like expert level track day guy, like I kind of know what I'm doing. A 600 is more than enough bike that I'll ever need. I have always felt that thousands were, for my skill set, just the power kind of got in the way of the fun. They're heavier, they're a lot to manage, and yeah, like it feels awesome to just like rip it on the straights, but you know, breaking the thing, the cranks are heavier, like it's harder to get it from side to side. I've always felt that the 600s were just like such a good balanced motorcycle. I've always had the most fun riding 600. So for me, absolute no-brainer, ZX6 all day long. Gootsy Colorado on YouTube has asked, bought a brand new motorcycle. After 3 weeks, it broke down. It's been in the shop for a week. What are lemon laws when it comes to motorcycles? Well, I can't believe you didn't tell us what the model was. I would love to know what the machine was that you bought that broke down after 3 weeks and what happened to it. But the question was about lemon laws. And unfortunately, I've never had to really do anything with lemon laws or look up anything about them. But my cursory understanding of lemon laws is that there are consumer protections for certain goods that you go and buy. I think specifically automotive and motorcycle and like those kinds of things that have engines, that if you buy something that is brand new from a dealership or reputable company, all that, if it like just doesn't work, then you have some protections that you can then either sue the dealer or the company or get some money back. There's some sort of stipulation. Again, I have a very cursory understanding of lemon laws, so I may not be the best person to ask about this. But if you do feel like you've been very wronged by a manufacturer and you bought this brand new bike, you didn't do anything wrong, talk to an attorney, see what your options are, and see if you can get your money back, because that really stinks if you're out of the money on the bike, and now it's just held up at the dealership. That really stinks. So, yeah. Josh Marsh on YouTube. Do you have any thoughts on 1% motorcycle clubs? I know nothing about 1%er clubs. I don't know anything about the culture around them. All I know is that it is not for me. It's not something that I get into motorcycling for. I'm not really into the whole like outlaw 1%er whatever club lifestyle. It's not my thing, so no knowledge on that subject. Somebody asked a question on chat. Oh, William Harp here. XSR 700 versus MT-07 if they were priced the same. For me, I've owned both of them and given away both of them. No doubt XSR 700. It's such a cool bike. Really, really nice. It performs basically the same as an MT-07. It's a little bit longer and a little bit different, but ultimately the same, and just looks way better. So that would be my choice. Corey Dawson on YouTube asks, looking to ride, would you recommend a cheap helmet to learn in case I dump it, or a good helmet from the start? Okay, maybe let's define cheap versus good helmet and maybe explain why they're not mutually exclusive. Perhaps maybe your definition of cheap is different. I'm not sure, but I think there's plenty of good cheap helmets that you don't have to skimp out on quality, but you don't have to break the bank either. If you're willing to spend even $150, which is more than enough money to keep your brain safe, right? I hope that you pride your brain and your head more than $50 or something like that, you know? You can find a great ECE rated helmet. That's the Economic Commission of Europe. They are the sanctioning body that regulates helmets over there. And that's the sticker you want to look for when you buy a motorcycle helmet. So I would say as long as the helmet has that sticker, the ECE 22.06, which I think is the latest sticker, they might have moved up to 7 or 8, or I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But as long as it has that sticker, not a DOT sticker. DOT stickers means jack shit, if we're being completely honest. They mean nothing. Look for that sticker, and then any helmet that has that sticker is going to be A-okay, great to learn on, great to use. Don't get a like $30 brain bucket from Amazon or something like that. Please, 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 God, don't do that. I have heard stories, and I hate to get morose here on the live stream, but I've heard stories, for example, of, you know, people riding on the back of a Harley. I think there was specifically a girl riding on the back of a Harley. Guy went through a roundabout on the Harley. Girl fell off the back of the bike, wasn't wearing a helmet, died. It does not take much to have a TBI, and please, please, please get a good helmet. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't need a $700 Arai helmet, but get a ECE rated helmet. All right. A. Adel on YouTube asks, looking to get into biking again, do you think a 950S Super Sport is good for daily commuting? You know, this motorcycle comes up a lot, the Ducati Super Sport, and I think one of the reasons it comes up is because Ducati's been making this bike for a while. I think almost 10 years now, this specific version that I'm thinking of. They've upgraded and modified it and changed it a little bit over time. But it kind of was the original, like, not-so-super sport machine, if you kind of think about it. It's got a big twin. It's kind of comfortable to ride around all the time. And I think you can fit it with luggage, if I remember correctly. So it kind of would be good for daily commuting. Plenty of power, plenty of poke, really nice on the highway. I've yet to ride one. I haven't ridden a 950 Super Sport yet, but maybe that's a bike we can do a video on, because I see a lot of people asking about this bike. So to Adel here, I think it'd be a good daily option. Yeah, definitely. All right, 599 Owen, hopefully that's a shout out to a 599cc engine, asks, I'm considering giving up my street bike and getting an enduro bike. Any advice? This is really interesting because I dabbled a little bit with enduro riding. I had a Husqvarna FE501 that I did a little bit of trail riding with in different places. I think if you're going to give up street riding completely, you have to realize that unless you have a very wide open schedule, which some of us do, you know, you're not going to ride as much, but your quality of seat time will go up. You know, you maybe get out there every 2 weeks on the trails, that sort of thing, but you'll be better off than you were if you're just like tooling around on the street. And if you feel more comfortable doing that too, you're going to need some sort of way to trailer this motorcycle to places. Some places allow you to plate an enduro bike, and some places would allow you to, you know, ride from your house to the trails with like a, you know, some sort of smog compliant exhaust or all that sort of things. It's kind of a pain in the butt to plate a proper enduro bike. You got to put on the headlights and the turn signals and all that. I would say if you're going to get one, my pick, and the reason I got one, is the Husqvarna or the KTM 500 platforms, because while they are a dual sport, they're ridiculously capable on the trails, like insanely capable on the trails. So unless you really want like a sub 200 pound two-stroke machine, which fair, that sounds like a really fun time, the dual sport bikes can do a lot there. Brandon Chasehorn giving me $5 here. What did you learn racing that you would not have learned just doing track days? Great question. For some context for everyone on stream, Brandon is a buddy of mine in real life. We raced together last year on an Endurance 400, and he's one of the fastest guys that I know, races an Aprilia 660, both at the Moto America level and at the Expert Club Racing level. So Brandon is a true fast boy. And honestly, dude, what I learned doing racing versus track days is that, like, the level at which you have to ride when you race is so different than track days. Like, I feel like it takes so much longer if you're just doing track days to like get good and to realize like what it's actually going to take to ride at that level. You know, if you're just doing track days, you're never being like pushed to ride faster. You're kind of like doing your laps and maybe you'll chase your buddy a little bit. For me, once I started racing, I was like, track days are fun, but they're a very inefficient way at getting better at riding. Racing is a very efficient way at getting better at riding because you are being timed and you literally see how far away you are from everybody else who is like really good, you know? It blew my mind when I started racing in 2020, like just how far off the pace I was of like the expert guys. I was like, how the hell am I 9 seconds a lap slower than what I need to be if I wanted to like compete, you know, at the top level of this club? And that's when your gears started turning, being like, oh, okay, like maybe I should try this, maybe I should brake later. And also like when you talk to other racers too, you start picking up stuff way faster and you learn stuff way faster. So that's the thing I learned when I did racing versus track days, is like, it's just way more efficient. If you want to actually ride super fucking fast on track, pardon my French, you just need to start racing. All right, FRC SO04. Tips for maintaining your bike and using it in the winter, UK based. So personally, for me, I live in Texas, so our winters are like 50 degrees. Like, and if it's less than 50 degrees, I'm not riding. It's too damn cold. And that's like maybe 10 degrees Celsius, 8 degrees Celsius, something like that. So I would say I'm not the best person to ask this question, but I'll try to answer it the best I can. In winter specifically, you're going to want to, in terms of using your motorcycle, just be aware that your tires are way colder than they're going to be riding in the summer. Seems obvious, but a lot of people think that they have the same level of grip no matter what the temperature is. But if it's that cold, you don't have anywhere near the same kind of grip you do when it's hot. So plan your braking way sooner. Think about your lean angles way more, and that'll keep you more upright. In terms of maintenance, if you're going through, even like slushy kind of ice or snow or that kind of thing, that kind of stuff can eat up a chain and can just add excessive wear on your bike. So you might have to think about cleaning your bike a little bit more often in the winter. And of course, if you're going to store your motorcycle in the winter, be sure to use some sort of fuel stabilizer or ethanol-free gas, and also get the bike up on stand so that the wheels aren't just like sitting and flat spotting your tires. So that would be some of my winter tips. And boys, that wraps up the questions. So again, before we get started with the bike roast and boost, join the community on yammie-noob.co, get access to the server, all that good stuff, and we will, answer your questions on future streams. Trying to see if we got any other chats or questions here. People just talking about MT09SP, 765RS. I don't think I missed anything. Maybe some things around the questions or the helmet question. That was interesting. Okay, cool. Again, thank you for your patience with your sweet Papa Yam, who's getting used to this whole live streaming thing. But I really do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Alrighty, so thank you to producer Logan for the wonderful image here on the bike roast or boost. This is my favorite segment of the week. The boys on Discord send me their bikes. They send some photos, and our wonderful producer Logan puts them all together, and then we read them, check out what the bikes they've got, and then I render a verdict. I will rate or boost or roast your motorcycle. So let's get started, shall we? Parrish75 on Discord. Oof. Good old dented up FZ6. All right. I feel like I bring up the FZ6 every other week, but this bike is a gem. This is like the gem that nobody looks at or thinks about anymore because it's kind of ugly and it's like a mid-2000s middleweight bike and blah, blah, blah. This has a detuned R6 motor and a proper aluminum twin spar frame, and it's comfortable and has a half fairing, and so you can do whatever you want with this bike and ride it all the time. This is an awesome second motorcycle. It may be even a first motorcycle if you're kind of a little bit more brave. But I tell you guys all the time, these bikes are fantastic. I really, really like these bikes. I think this one, it looks in pretty good condition. It's not too bad. Like I said, it was dented up, but I think it looks pretty good. Now, are they going to be as agile and nimble and like super fun as a brand new R7 or something like that? No, guys, come on. It's a little bit of a lazy mid-2000s bike. But look, you get an Undertale exhaust. Don't get that on a new bike, and that's pretty sweet. This guy's got the comfort seat too. He knows what he's doing. I'm telling you. Ooh, maybe a little bit more than dented up, huh? I see some scratches there, some cracks and stuff, but again, it's a solid motorcycle, man. That looks like a pretty big dent in the gas tank over there. Maybe get some extra photos. Nope, the good side of the bike. But yeah, man, I think like people overlook these, honestly. And you can get these for cheap. You can get these for really cheap. I've seen these go for $2,500 in like pretty good condition. $3,000 for really good condition all day long. That's a lot of motorcycle for $3,000. All right, Uber Cruiser has his bike. Let's read the description here. It says, okay, fine. Also looks like I need more diverse riding buddies. 2022 Ducati Street Fighter V4S. Woo! Suspension tuned by Dave Moss. Looks like Logan redacted the story because not enough space. And he said, I'd give the full mod list, but honestly, it's all boring, standard cosmetic stuff. Signals, reflectors, tail delete. Let's take a look. Oof, that is beautiful. Actually recognize his avatar because he has a sticker right there of it from the Discord server. So we had one of these in 2022. And these bikes are so good. Not to sound like an absolute simp and an absolute just like, you know, elitist, but dude, the Ducati stuff nowadays, oh my God, the top level stuff is so good. It is so ridiculously good. I got the wonderful chance to put an exhaust on this thing. I took it out on track. I reviewed it on road. And it's just like, it does everything so well. I think with the stock exhaust, it was better than when it had a full exhaust because it actually didn't sound too loud. And it was just like, oh my God, it was such a good motorcycle. It was so good. It was super fun, super rowdy. It pulled like an animal. And then when you took it on track, other than, you know, you're a little bit sail in the wind, so super top speed racetracks, maybe not the most fun, but it was comfortable and fun and like ridiculously capable. It felt like a video game. The bike is so good. Yeah, but it's expensive. You know, it's like a $28,000 motorcycle or something silly like that. So you do have to pay to play, but it is darn good. And this angle's cool with 360, flying through some twisties. And yeah, big shout out. Love this bike. Looking clean. Looking good. All right. This is a cursed one, and I actually have the lowdown on this bike. Donut on Discord put this one. She's a beaut, ain't she? MT10. Now, folks, I think this MT10 has seen better days. What do you guys think? Chat, let me know what you think about this MT10. I think that'll buff right out. You know, that'll buff right out, dude. Don't worry about it, man. It's not like the fork is, you know, in 6 different angles at the front. Buff right out, dude. All right, so to give you guys some context on this bike, user Donut on Discord is a known turbo squid. It's the only way I can describe this guy. This MT10 probably lived more of its mileage on the rear wheel alone than both wheels on the ground. The guy is a serial wheelie offender. And this MT10 lived the life that all MT10s aspire to. And if I remember correctly, he just recently got this bike fixed after wheeling it so much and then crashed it. So kind of like the most MT10 thing to do, if you ask me. But yeah, it's certainly seen better days. That is a hardcore taco on the rear wheel back here. That is, oof, that's hard to look at. You never want to see a bike this mangled up, and I do hope that, Donut, you are okay. I think you've been posting on the Discord, so I think you're okay. But I did see you in a neck brace of some sort. So, buddy, I hope quick recovery, speedy recovery, if that is the case for you there. But MT10, ripper of a bike. This one, not ripping anything. Except some checks to the medical center. All right. Laughing too much at his expense. Shane on Discord has written us a small Bible here. Just kidding. Here is my beloved 2009 Honda Repsol Fireblade named Emo Nemo. I bought this bike last month with 9,300 miles on it. 3 days after purchase, oh no, my dry rotted front tire gave me the wobbles in a curve at 85 miles per hour, resulting in me sliding in the grass about 250 feet. Oh no. I suffered a broken hand, which required surgery. Oh my goodness, 4 fractured vertebrae, collapsed and punctured lung. Oh man, dude, I hope you're okay. That is really nasty. Thankfully, the frame and engine were okay, and I fully rebuilt the bike in 3 days after parts arrived. The bike is cammed, flashed, and race-tuned, full SC Project exhaust with the K&N filter to name the major performance mods. My back and lung is mostly healed. The hand is still in rough shape, but physical therapy has helped. I love my bike. I can't wait to get back in physical and mental shape to ride. So just a quick props to Shane, dude. Thank you for submitting this, and quick recovery on there. You hate to see a rider go down, and a broken hand is a tough thing to recover from, specifically with motorcycling, because, you got to operate clutch and throttle and brakes and all that. So I hope you get that sorted. But let's take a look at the motorcycle. Oh, it's pretty, isn't it? Repsol livery. This is actually a really good vintage of leader bike. A lot of people swear by these. They swear by this specific vintage of CBR 1000. They're just like, this is the one to get. It performs so well. It does so good. And I think this maybe is after he's rebuilt it. This is a good looking motorcycle, man. They've aged pretty well. They have this really small, stumpy little face, but I think overall this is a really, really good looking motorcycle. This is back when Honda was making cool stuff. Am I right? Yeah, look at the front face. I mean, it still looks good for 2009, dude. It still has a really proper shape about it. Oof, that's the scene of the crash there. Look at that frame. Oh my goodness, that is a beefcake of a frame on that bike. And here's our friend healing up there. Good to see you healing up and doing well. This is a good reminder to all of you out there to check your tires, Shane here mentioned that it was dry, rotted front tire, giving him wobbles, that sort of thing. I mean, a bike like that, you really want to make sure you got proper tire. And I mentioned this in so many videos where I'm like, the tires are the most important thing. The tires are the most important thing. Do not think about exhaust. Do not think about levers. For the love of God, get good tires on the motorcycle, because that's all that's touching the ground. So this is a good reminder to everybody out there. Get proper good tires on your bikes. Make sure you're checking the tires on your bikes, because things can happen, and that is pretty crappy, All right, Comrade Bear on Discord has said, my Trident ended up dropping in a rookie mistake in some gravel. Had to replace my clutch lever, and now got to look into fixing the cover and the stator alternator cover. Just some minor damage. Use it as a reminder that if you're going to put on frame sliders, don't put it off. Sat on my sliders and never put them on, then planned on putting them on the day after this happened. Oh, that's such a bummer. Let's see. Classic little Triumph Trident here. Absolutely patrician choice, going for the tank bag right there. Very smart. Good looking little bike. He's got the windshield on it too. Hey, this guy's gonna be doing some long distance riding on this, telling the world that I don't need no stinking sport touring machine. I'm just gonna put a freaking windshield and a tank bag on my naked bike. Call it a day. Love to see that. That's exactly what you should do. Let's see. Ooh, there's a little bit of damage right there on the cover. Luckily, that's a very, very easy part to replace. And a good reminder to not only get frame sliders like you mentioned, but also to get case covers and case savers. That's going to be a great thing to get for the bike too. Really small cosmetic damage right there. Honestly, if I were you, the lever snapped, which kind of sucks. But if I were you on this, I would just touch that up with the paint marker. Honestly, I wouldn't even get a replacement part for these. I would just literally just touch it up with a paint marker. But that's because I'm a bit of a degenerate with my motorcycles, and the the shift peg on my Ducati Scrambler Desert sled is the inside of a bar end mirror, if I remember correctly. I bolted on some crazy thing, and it works just fine. So again, I do insane, stupid, degenerate stuff on my motorcycles. Maybe don't listen to me so much, but simple fix, lever, cover, no big deal. Bike's back on the road. It already is on the road. All good. Honda Scrambler 500 from Matthew on Discord. He downgraded from my CB650R recently to be able to ride more fire roads and generally worse road quality here in Arkansas than what we had in Texas. I've loved the bike so far. A little low on power, but it's light and cheap. I've been looking for some racks and panniers as well as a small windscreen. The Honda Scrambler 500 is a motorcycle that is not something that I would think too much about, if I'm being totally honest. The reason being is that this is based on the Rebel 500 platform. So you see the frame here, the engine. This is all Rebel 500 Cruiser. And they have like a really long high pipe in the back, but this pipe is still low in the front. To me, this is more of an aesthetic kind of shakeup on the Rebel 500 motorcycle than a proper like fire road style bike. I am glad you like it though. I don't want to clown on your bike too much, but I would have maybe gotten, if the goal was to do fire roads and worse quality roads, a middleweight ADV would have worked really, really well. Or even a dual sport or entry-level adventure bike, something like that. But this motorcycle does have a larger front wheel, but still cast, probably still reasonably heavy. But yeah, it's not a bike that I've thought about too much, I'm going to be totally honest. But yeah, I think the green looks cool. Green looks pretty cool. Oh, that's just a sad cat right there. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Sorry, no more pics. All right, Shithawk on Discord. Now, this one I wanted to check out. Honestly, I saw this one in the chat, and I was like, all right, let's check it out. All right, it says, my modded up Chinese bike in a box. First bike, crashed my second bike, clapped out old UJM Cruiser. 2 for 2 of the 7 worst beginner bikes, 5 more to go. Haven't been riding because my broken arm isn't quite all healed yet, but I'll be back on it soon. I have a little over 3K miles on it, about 100 miles of break-in in riding on the Big Bore kit and other internal engine mods, so I haven't really seen what it can do. Need to finish breaking in. I'm legitimately considering a Gixxer 600 for my next bike. Hell yeah. I like the spirit of this guy. Holy crap, these are a lot of mods. So on the little Hawk here, he did a carburetor with an intake swap and an airbox mod, the exhaust, ported head, cam, big bore kit to an actual 250. He re-geared to 15 front and 50 rear from that to a 1640. Wow, that's a big old change. Max speed achieved on the flat grounds before the engine mods was 80 miles per hour, 8,500 RPM. I'm not sure I'd want to do more than 60 with a Hawk. More than 50, honestly. Oil cooler with fan, temp gauges on the inlet and outlet hoses, Shinko 705s, ADV bars, digital cluster, clutch springs, folding adjustable levers, and much more. Folks, this is the Hawk. This is like the Chinese super soldier Hawk. I mean, this is the finest that money can buy. This is like the Hawk taken to another level, This bike has always reminded me of the kind of bikes you see in Mexico and in India. I rode in India twice last year, and I've ridden in Mexico several times, and I always see these like little like 200s, 180s, like weird displacement sort of dual sport looking bikes, and this reminds me so much of it. But this is like the Yao Ming of Hawks. This is intense. This is pretty nice. So that's a pretty clean install right there on the cage and everything else for that additional oil cooler. I think that's what that is. I love a complicated dash. Y'all know me if you see my Desert Sled. I got a lot of bullshit on my dash too, so this looks great. No muss, no fuss, right? And look at it, out in its natural elements, doing the thing, doing the dual sport thing. You don't need much, you don't need to go crazy. I will say the front suspension may need some looking into. Look at this tiny little thing with the upside down. Oh my God, this thing blows through its travel upon looking at a small log, This is pretty intense. But look at oh my God, this is how I know this guy rocks. He's got the gas station gas can in the back, absolute cheapo cooler and a helmet, and he's on the beach. This guy's living more life than any of you out there on chat right now. This guy's not letting it get to him. He's like, dude, I'm going to go have some fun. I don't care. Like, I'm going to go on the beach with my Chinese bike. I literally don't care. I love the spirit of it. Dude, get a Gixxer 600, please. I think you deserve it. This is amazing. Subaru WRX20. I hated that I had to say that on chat. 2024 Yamaha R7 in the matte gray with the retro decals. Finally got the tail tidy on and some other small cosmetic things like the VF Designs tail light turn signals. Moving from owning Harley Davidson motorcycles to a sport bike was quite the change, but I really enjoy it. We've converted one, boys. We got another one. We've converted Harley guy to sport bike guy. Yes, let's go. Come on, enjoy life. But I really enjoy it. Also, I feel mature enough not to kill myself at this point in my life. That is very good as well, too. Really sensual photo mod here. R7 decals popping right there with the black and the white. Very nice. Got a backpack on right there. Very nice. Having some fun, hanging out with the boys. I see an Aprilia RSV4, I think, in the back right over here. That's nice. Or a Tuono V4. Very, very nice motorcycle. Same photo with the full color right here. Yeah, I mean, the R7, you know, one thing I like about the R7 is that, ooh, that taillight does look good. One thing that's cool about the R7 is that they made it really look like a super sport, and the ergonomics are very super sport. You know, the Daytona 660, the GSX-8R, if you know what to look for, you're kind of like, yeah, that's a sport touring bike kind of thing. Like the R7 is a properly sporty little motorcycle. It still has the parallel twin. It's not an R7. Like, let's not get our panties in a wad about it, you know, but it's a good motorcycle, man. I really enjoyed the R7 when we had one as a giveaway bike a few years ago. It's a really nice bike. And Yamaha really made it do what it needs to do in the category. And they sell a bunch of them. I feel like it's like the most popular motorcycle for Instagram people. I feel like I see so many people with R7s on Instagram because it's like the styling on these bikes really what makes it for people, I think. It's got the R-bike styling, the fins on the gas tank, the little cutouts right there. Like, it looks the part, and that's so important to people, and Yamaha nailed that, you know? So, big ups to them. 808 State 2017 on Discord has said, this is my 2022 SV650 that I picked up about 4 or 5 months ago. This is the bike I learned how to do real wheelies on and had so much fun on it every time I rode it, and I worked really hard to get it. But unfortunately, about 3 weeks ago, I was going about 80 miles per hour down a long dead highway, and a deer ran onto the road out of nowhere and blocked both lanes. Oh my goodness. I went completely airborne and couldn't walk for 2 weeks and had stitches in my left foot because my left shoe and foot blew apart on impact. Oh my goodness, dude. I hope your foot's okay. I had a lot of crashes today, man. Sorry to hear it, guys. I'm recovered for now, for the most part, and dying to get back on 2 wheels. Man, honestly, I have had a few deer encounters before. And they're terrifying because there's sometimes like there's nothing you can do. What you can do to avoid it in the future, I don't know if you were riding at dusk or at dawn. Later in the evening, deer, for some reason, love to come out and go kamikaze mode. Deer absolutely love to come out, you know, at like 7 p.m. when it's like really dusky outside, and they just like run into traffic. They do it all the time. So I try to avoid riding in that dusky hour in the middle of nowhere, because especially here in Texas, you got deer everywhere. And yeah, they are like a menace. But let's check out the SV. Say what you will, I think Suzuki hasn't updated this bike since 2017. It still looks freaking good. The frame looks awesome. It's got the welded tubular steel thing going on, the trellis kind of esque frame like a Ducati Monster. It sounds awesome because it's a V-twin. I still think the SV is a badass motorcycle. Really, really nice. Got some nice old school Porsches in the back there. That's cool. Oh, what a good look. I mean, it's such a great looking motorcycle, man. And it's a do anything bike, which you guys know I love. I didn't know that they made it in this kind of like, I didn't know they made the frame kind of gold and black. Like, this is a really good looking SV. Really good looking SV. Noah on Discord here has a 2023 KTM Super Duke Evo. That's a nice bike. Watch out for the cams, I hear, are not great on KTMs, and the oil leaks, and the head gaskets, and everything else on the KTMs. Just kidding. It has almost every single KTM Power Plus part on it, an SC Project slip-on. Thankfully, I bought it used with 100 miles and all the parts on it for under MSRP. This bike is absolutely nuts and way too much for the streets, but it's just so much fun. I'll never get rid of it. That is a good looking bike. I love the way on the Super Dukes you get this like double exhaust thing that like folds into one at the front of it. I feel like it gives it such a muscular stance. The Super Duke is still one of the few naked bikes that still kind of scares me. I wouldn't say a lot, but it's like the way the torque hits on that V-twin is like not so nice. The newer ones have them dialed in a little bit better, but I've always felt like the bike was a little bit more aggressive than it needed to be. And the old school ones were absolutely bonkers. Genuinely a scary bike to ride, but like you can still ride it, but it's like not as enjoyable because it kind of gets in its own way. But this one looks great with the silver and the frame, single-sided swing arm. It's a beast of a bike for sure. And honestly, the Super Dukes, you know, we talk about KTM reliability and like the BS on those bikes, but you know, I haven't heard much on the Super Dukes. What I've really heard about that on is the 390 models, the 690 models, and the 790, 890 models. So basically, get the most expensive KTM and then it's completely fine, apparently. Oh, geez. All right, boys, that wraps up the bike roast and boost. Always a lot of fun to do that. So now might be everybody's favorite time. It's mystery box time. This is my favorite segment of the week because we are just going to check out the ridiculous thing that producer Logan sent for us to check out. I have no idea what's in the box. We're going to grab it, open it up, and hopefully it's motorcycle related. Last time we had World War I era glasses and goggles. We got the Hog Blaster for the first one. So let's see what's going on with the mystery box this week. Okay. Box in hand. I'm going to open it up. I already ripped it a little bit. We got some styrofoam. Looks like we're going to have to reveal it like this, maybe. It appears stuck. We want to just caveman it. I have to bring a vacuum cleaner in here later. Come on. There we go. Styrofoam. Is it... What is it? Let's see. Oh my god! All right, no, this is so sick. This is so good, dude. This is so good! Yes! This is actually, oh my god, and he's flipping you off, dude. This is the best thing ever. It's like Christmas every week. All right, what we're looking at here is a garden gnome on a Harley Davidson or some sort of, it's Harley Davidson. He's flipping you off. He's got the little glasses on. Oh my god, and the back says Garden Bikers Nomad. Dude, this thing rips. All right, give you guys a little bit of context. I've been very into my landscaping and my gardening lately. I've been going absolutely ham here at my house, like sprucing up my whole... I installed my own sprinkler system. I got my fruit trees. I've been planting some... I built a pond. Like, I've been going ham this year in the yard. I, like, redid our front flower beds. I've been putting sweat equity into my home this entire year because I'm now a dad. And I literally was talking to my wife the other night about how I wanted a garden gnome for our house. And I have one now. I cannot... This is absolutely amazing. Dude, I love this thing. This isn't even like a mystery box. Like, this is just for me now. This is just the best thing ever. Logan, thank you so much. It's chintzy. It's weird. Rolling with the Nomies says Wayward Soul. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this little guy. So sick, dude. I got to find a nice place for him to live in our garden. Man, so freaking sweet. So sweet. All right, well, this is the best mystery box that we've done so far. Look at this little guy. Look at that. Dude, he rips. Absolutely rips. Excellent mystery box segment. Thank you so much, producer Logan. Very, very nice. Now let's move on to the final portion of the live stream here. Motorcycle trivia. We got the Busa Man versus Kyle here. Back when I was doing lots of high effort characters that would get 10,000 views and nobody cared. hurting my soul a little bit, but that's okay. Got to have some fun with it, you know? All right, first question here. In the world's fastest Indian, Burt Munro attempted to set the land speed records at the Bonneville Salt Flats on a custom-built Indian Streamliner. What non-Indian motorcycle was actually used in the movie? Wow, that is a super specific question. If y'all have an answer on chat, please let me know. I have no clue. I'm gonna guess, because I probably had to make some weird like chopper version of something. I'm gonna say they used a Harley. I'm gonna say they used a Sportster in the movie. Let's see. Let's find out. In the movie, Burt's motorcycle is actually a highly modified Ducati made to look like the Indian used IRL. I did not think they'd use a Ducati. I thought they'd just grab some cheapo Sportster. So that's on me. All right. Question. What racer has won the most World Superbike races? Well, this one is pretty easy, I think. Really nice photo there of Jonathan Rea. Who else? Who's number 60? God, memory escapes me. On the Yamaha. That had to be a few years ago because Rea still has the number 1 plate. Who was number 60 on Yamaha a few years ago? I don't remember. That's digging deep in the catalog. I'm more of a MotoGP guy, but I do watch some Superbike. I'm going to guess it has to be Jonathan Rea. I'm pretty sure he has the most wins. 6-time world champion. That has to be my guess. Yeah, people on chat saying Rea. Has to be, right? Yeah, Jonathan Rea is the most successful rider in World Superbike with 119 race wins and 6 titles. Very true. He's having a pretty tough year on the Yamaha this year. And honestly, if he had stuck on the Kawasaki, he'd have an even better year. Alex Lowe's is like killing it. He's like 3rd in the championship or some crazy shit. Rea could have definitely been up there. So I think he should have just stuck with Kawasaki, in my opinion. But if you guys aren't watching Superbike this year, Toprak is doing just crazy nonsense stuff with the BMW. You guys should definitely check that out. Okay, question. What police department used the Honda Rebel 250 as the official police motorcycle in the early 80s? All right, we're going to have to dig deep here. What police department would use a Honda Rebel 250 as the official police motorcycle in the early 80s? It could not have been any American police department in the 80s. They 100% used Harley Davidsons. So that's absolutely not. It might be a Central American country. I could see that. Central American country could do Honda Rebel. I'm gonna say Mexico. Mexico's my answer. No way the Metropolitan Police in Washington, D.C. would use... Oh my God, that's so... Talk about budget cuts. God damn. I was immediately going for like poorer country than America. I was like, no, every American police department would use Harley Davidsons. Like, why would... Oh my God, that's crazy. They would ultimately be replaced by 883 Sportsters. God damn. The Washington, D.C. Metro Police is just like, no, you don't get good bikes. Screw you. You get absolute turds. That's awful. All right. The question, in reference to what motorcycle did Koji Yoshiura say he wanted to create a somewhat grotesque design and create a strong initial impact? The mission was to create a total new styling that will be not out of date within a few years. Come on, Logan. Come on, folks. I am nothing if not an absolute encyclopedia for Busa knowledge and lore. The answer to this question is, of course, the Hayabusa, baby. And the answer was written like that before I even popped it up. Truly grotesque in this top one. My goodness, that is an ugly Hayabusa with a truck tire at the back. Kind of missing my Hayabusa lately, I'm not going to lie. That was an excellent bike. Had a lot of fun with it. I got to get the next thing. We got to figure out what that next meme content bike is. If y'all have any ideas, drop me in chat. Let me know what I should get as the next meme bike. Got to be a good one. What motorcycle sold worldwide was the first to feature Honda's VTEC? I believe it was the VFR 750. Could be. I think that feels like the right answer. Feels like VFR 750 would be the first one, right? Oh, the 800. Okay, the answer was the first worldwide implementation of VTEC technology occurred with the introduction of the VFR 800 in 2002. Okay, I knew it was the VFR. I went way too far in the catalog. I thought the 750s would have VTEC, but it was the 800. Okay, got it. That's a good vintage. I think that's one of the best Hondas, honestly. All right, what is the fastest top speed ever recorded on a Royal Enfield motorcycle? Do we want to clown on him? We just want to say like 93 miles an hour. If one got thrown out of an airplane, what's the terminal velocity of a Royal Enfield? I'm not sure. I'm not sure here. I'm gonna take a stab and say somebody probably built a land speed record Royal Enfield and went out to the Bonneville Salt Flats and probably did like a 158. I'm gonna say 158. Oh my God. Well, I was right. A Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, nicknamed Sabre, set a land speed record of 133.779 miles per hour on the salt flats of South Australia in 2021. Royal Enfield, those are rookie numbers. We got to pump those numbers up, baby. We got to get way, way, way higher top speeds than that, boy. If a stock ZX4RR can hit those on the street, which I may or may not have done allegedly in a video, you got to get those numbers up. Come on, baby. Come on. And folks, that's going to wrap up the stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Had a ton of fun. Thank you for everybody on chat. Hope you guys had a blast. Remember, the motorcycle gnome might be the greatest thing that's ever existed. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really fun. Thank you so much to producer Logan. Thank you so much to everybody who joined on stream and everybody on the Discord as well. And I really appreciate it, guys. This is the best part of my whole job, is hanging out with everybody here. It really is the best part of what I do. If I could just do this, I would be super happy. But your boy has to make the sweet list videos. You know, we got to keep the machine churning. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later, folks.